If you're just starting to have some interest in watches, then you're on your way to learn a lot of things. We often see watches for what it is, but there are brands and timepieces out there that do more than what you expect it to do. There are also a lot of creativity and technical skills required to create these crafts. Well, if you want to get into the world of watches and you're somehow fascinated with them, or if you're interested in building your own collection, then I, your luxury warrior, will talk about the top 8 things that you should know about watches. The first thing I want to talk about is the movement inside. There are 2 primary types of watch movements, which are mechanical and quartz. Mechanical watches can either be manual or automatic. These watches use full mechanical energy in order to power the watch through springs and gears. Moving on to the quartz watch. These types of watches use actual electrical charge to power the watch. Simply put, it uses a battery. Compared to mechanical watches, quartz are more accurate and easier to create. Next up that I want you to know and understand the watch industry better and see what makes up this market. The way the watch industry is constructed is comparable to the automotive industry. The first group that you should know is the Swatch Group, that is composed of the Swiss brands. The brands in this group come in a wide range of prices, styles, and designs. Some of the brands under this are Hamilton, Tissot, Swatch, Harry Winston, Breguet, and Omega. The next group, which is Richmond, actually includes high-end brands and are more luxurious and obviously more expensive. Here you have IWC, Panerai, Vacheron, Constantine, Montblanc, Van Cleef & Arpels, Cartier, and a lot more. Now we have the Japanese powerhouse group, which is the Seiko Group. The brands under this are Orient, Crador, Grand Seiko, and of course, Seiko. Another Japanese group is the Citizen Group that has Bulova, Alpina, Citizen, Miyota, and many others under its name. Of course, we also have Rolex and Tudor, which are both privately owned and operated. These 2 are undoubtedly popular in the industry. These brands might come into mind right away when you think of watches. For sure, we will not forget about LVMH, the world's largest luxury conglomerate. They own brands like Bulgari, Zenith, Hublot, and Tag Heuer. Another group that is starting to get into watches is the Kering Group. Brands like Girard Perregaux and Ulysse Nardin are under this group. There are independent brands as well, such as the Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, and Breitling. The third thing that I want to share with you about watches is how you can determine the best size of watch for you. Of course, the first thing that you should know is your wrist circumference. But I want to tell you that the top 3 things that you should look out for when you're trying on a watch are case diameter, thickness, and lug-to-lug. What I want to focus on is the lug-to-lug, which is not often mentioned by manufacturers. This is the measurement from the top of the actual watch to the bottom of the watch. Well, with this aspect, you are the only one that can say which fits you best or what type of watch makes you feel comfortable. The fourth detail that we should discuss is the straps and tools. These are actually very important in terms of style and occasions. I mean, people might actually forget that they can switch the straps of their watch to make it look more appropriate and suitable if you're planning to use it in certain events. When choosing the straps, you should also consider the lug width. This is the distance between the 2 lugs of your watch. You can totally make a watch look so different when you change its straps. You can choose a strap that is fitted for casual occasions, or you can choose another strap for dressier events. There are tons of options for metal straps, nylon straps, and leather straps in the market. What you should also keep in mind is that there are watches out there that have integrated bracelets. Moving forward, the 5th thing that you should know is the in-house and third-party movements. Let's talk about the certification in this part. You might have probably heard about these terms, but we will try to explain it as simply as possible. For in-house movements, it generally means that it is the watch movement that has been designed and developed by a manufacturer in their own facility. The in-house movements are usually widely collectible and are more sought after. Well, this is not only the complicated part, but it is also far more expensive compared to other movements. When it comes to third-party movements, though, it is much cheaper to buy since they are used in mass production. With that being said, it is also guaranteed to be reliable since it has been used time and time again. Even the service costs of third-party movements are so much cheaper compared to in-house movements. The most known chronometer certification is done by COSC. This is a Swiss organization that tests watch calibers through various tests. Well, this costs a lot as well to get a movement accredited, but when a watch movement is recognized, then for sure there is an added respect to the watch. At number 6, we're going to talk about water resistance. This term is something that you will often see and hear when you're buying a watch or when you're trying on one. There are also cases where the limitations on this aspect are quite misleading. If your watch is water resistant up to 30 meters, that does not automatically mean that you can do all activities up to 30 meters. This limit is tested when the watch is in a static condition. Of course, there is pressure when you're underwater to a certain degree, and a lot more conditions that you should take note of when using a watch that features water resistance. You can have 30 meters water resistant, and there is no swimming in this one. The 50 meters can go with you on a light swimming. The 100 meters can take you to certain water activities. The 200 meters will accompany you in water activities, also including diving. Now with number 7, we will talk about different types of crystals. The 3 most common crystals used in watches are acrylic, hesselite, and plexiglass. There are also watches that feature mineral crystal and sapphire crystal. The first 3 that I have mentioned are cheaper compared to the other 2. The con with these crystals though is that they easily scratch. With mineral crystals, they are harder but do not easily get scratched. Now we have sapphire crystals that are very scratch resistant but also come with a higher price. And now we're down to the 8th thing that you should be aware of when it comes to watches. At number 8, you should know where to buy your watches. Of course, you have tons of options with this one. Let me talk about the black market sellers. Obviously, you must not fall under their trap. The watches they sell are usually counterfeit, and you should stay as far away from them as possible. Now we have gray market sellers. They are sellers that are not authorized by the brands to sell their watches, so these sellers usually source watches from different countries and buy them in bulk, and then they sell them to the market at the lowest price possible. Compared to the black market sellers, the practices of gray market sellers are not illegal. And the next type of sellers are pre-owned sellers. For sure, you can get watches from these sellers in a more affordable amount. The last type of seller that I want to discuss are authorized sellers. From the word itself, these are sellers that are authorized by the brands to sell their products. I hope you learned something from this video, and you can take note of all of the things that I have mentioned if you're planning to buy your first or next watch. Comment your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you want to see more related content. And as always, prepare to suit up for more of our exciting videos.